So, you know how like they'd been extending Project Hail Mary's theatrical and theatrical and theatrical, and they just kind of kept going? Well, I was not expecting to see it come up for sale. It came just randomly, like Tuesday, they were like, now you can buy Project Hail Mary. And I was like, well, 10 seconds later, I am buying
Wow.
Project Hail Mary.
Dang, that is crazy.
So I am happy they gave it a longer theatrical run, right? Um, I will say it did have a good theatrical run, which was nice. What did it end up at? 658 million and change.
Oh, so it
Which
did not do well.
oh no, that was terrible. It was god awful. They should be ashamed of themselves. um, yeah, I mean it did really well, but I bought it and I did watch it today while I was job hunting. I had to. I had to sit there and watch it because Rocky is funny.
Rocky is great.
Rocky is wonderful. So, um, and then obviously last week I did the YouTube video on Devil Wears Prada making a crap ton of money. Guess where that's at now?
Also for sale already?
No,
Like,
no, uh,
1 billion.
not quite. 443 million for Devil Wears Prada 2. So I would just like to point out that we were some of the very few YouTubers, you and I, who were like, this movie's gonna do, like we talked about this months ago, that this was gonna do well. Um, it's currently the fifth highest grossing movie of the year, and it's not done yet. I don't know how much more. I think it'll break 500 million. Does it have anywhere else to open? Uh, no, it's opened everywhere. So it's up, you know, but it's done really, really well. So did you see that, by the way? Did you get around to watching it? I don't remember if we talked about that.
Yeah. I did watch it. I watched that and Mother Mary, like, in the same weekend pretty much. And what else did I see? It was like Mother Mary, Devil Wears Prada 2, and oh, Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten around to Mortal Kombat yet. I did watch Overwatch Private 2. I liked it. It's not as good as the original, but I didn't think it was gonna be. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a solid flick. So we took Jess on Mother's Day.
Aw.
So I was like, "What are we gonna do for Mother's Day?" She's like, "I want to see Devil Wears Prada 2," and I was like, "Okay." And then she was debating if they still had the Butter Birkin, whether she was gonna get it, even though it's $80.
$80. I thought you could buy it on AMC's website for 40.
Could you? I didn't see that it
I
was there for
thought so.
40.
I
So
thought you could.
um
Um, Talking about that real quick though. Oh yeah, it's $40. Talking about that real quick though. I have a bone to pick with you because I made a reference today at work and your wife did not understand the reference at all. She talked about having some sort of portal between us and another country, and I said a portal gun or a Stargate,
oh
and she
yeah.
said I don't know which either one of those are. And I
Oh,
said, "You've never seen Stargate." And she was like, "I don't know what that is."
what was the other one? We ran into another one last night where I was like, "You haven't seen that fucking movie?" What the hell was it? There was something we talked about last night and I was like, "Oh, it was fucking You've Got Mail."
Mm.
I was like, "How have you never seen You've Got Mail?" Like
Yeah.
what planet you know, and then and then that got us on the subject of Nora Ephron, and I was like, also Sleepless in Seattle. And
Yep.
she was like, I haven't seen that either. And I was like, you know what? Divorce. Divorce. That's it. I'm done. Okay.
Y- You live in Seattle.
I I don't know. I don't know what to say. Okay.
Stay out.
Same thing with Stargate. Okay. I don't know how she hasn't seen Stargate. Right. Um, she didn't hit her heavy nerd time until she was an adult, so we'll just put that aside. Speaking of nerd shit, programming note, there will be no show next Thursday, as Jay and I are going to go to the screening for Mandalorian and Grogu. And then, per our usual tradition, we will come home and we will probably record our review and spoiler talk for Mando and Grogu that night while it's fresh in our minds and get those uploaded to the YouTube channel. But it did bring up an interesting discussion. They were talking about it on Campia this week and things like that. They premiered the Avengers Doomsday trailer privately at CinemaCon for all the theater owners. And everybody's been kind of waiting to see when they were going to put it out. So one of the latest discussions that was being had was, do they put the full Doomsday trailer before Mandalorian and Grogu? Jay, what say you? Do we think we're going to see a Doomsday trailer before Mandalorian and Grogu next week?
Yes.
You do. I agree with you, because the next opportunity for Disney to kind of put this out is really Spider-Man, and that's not till July. And I don't think they want to wait until July to put out this trailer. I just don't. And this is end of May. I think this is the perfect time for the first trailer. So
yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before on this show. Like, marketing is everything, So like, we really need to start getting all of the the Doomsday marketing right now. Like, I want a Doctor Doom Starbucks drink that's green and metal.
Well, see, that stuff we get closer, because you can go to Burger King right now and get the Grogu menu.
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
saw the commercial for that. I was like, all right, I kind of got to go to Burger King now. But you can go and get the Grogu menu. So there's that. Hey, real quick note, everybody, technical side of it. I had to rebuild my whole setup this week because I did something to power supplies, and it's a whole thing. My computer has randomly been, my production box has randomly just been like, boo, screw you, I'm dead. It's been doing it less. I think I fixed the problem. I'm not sure. I don't really have the money to go out and replace power supplies in multiple boxes right now. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, just get a job, Alex.
Working on it. That's a whole other discussion. But you guys could also help us out by helping us promote this YouTube channel. So maybe this could be my job. That would be great.
Oh, oh my God. Could we have like a feed Alex button?
We should. Yeah. All right. And with that, we'll end the cold open right here and say, coming to you live from our weird home studios, it is the Error Code Show for May 14th. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, whatever the hell else we want to talk about. If you want to support the show, if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Prime sub to Twitch. You can subscribe to us on Twitch and give us Amazon's money, or you can just subscribe to us on Twitch. You can also gift subs on Twitch. That is one way. Comment, like, and subscribe. I tell you, it helps us with that evil YouTube algorithm. Jay and I were discussing this before the show. I don't understand why some stuff gets pushed super hard. I do know that engagement, though, always helps. We're on our march to 5,000 subs. I'm really trying to get there. Every time you guys comment, like, subscribe, and share those with your social media followings, it helps us out a lot. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Error Code Show. With that out of the way, why don't we jump into our first segment tonight? And I'm warning you right now, folks, we are going to have some mild spoilers, okay? It's been a couple of days. It's hard to talk about these without a little bit of spoilery talk. And so I'm going to apologize up front, okay? But let's jump into this. Disney's season 2 of Daredevil Born Again is done. And here's the verdict. This is one of the better shows that Marvel Television has produced. Full stop. It's doing well on Rotten Tomatoes. It's really earned its stuff. Season 1 was a Frankenstein job where they had kind of shifted directions kind of midway through. Everybody knew that. That's why there was a little bit of kind of tonal weirdness with season 1, but not season 2. Season 2 was built clean from the ground up with a real vision of what they wanted to do, and it shows in every episode. This thing is like the ultimate crime saga. Kingpin playing corrupt mayor using government power to hunt down the vigilantes. And the show is not subtle. It is not subtle about the politics it is mirroring in 2026. Okay. Like the parallels are very, very clear. But it's not letting the politics be swallow up the characters. There's a lot where a lot of those shows do fail. And really, I have to say, like the return of Jessica Jones, right, which we got about half of that was all in the promotional material, right? We get some really interesting information about Jessica, and here's where my spoiler tag is going to come on. Jessica Jones got a baby. She's got a little one. So apparently, because obviously we know that they've recanonized the Netflix shows into the MCU, right? Everybody's aware of this, okay? Her and Luke Cage had a baby, right? And I do love the sequence where they introduce Jessica. She's not actually a baby. She's more like a toddler-ish. Is there. Matthew Lillard's character, great, right? It gives us some connection to the Thunderbolts. It gives us some connection to the wider MCU. We get some references to Valentina. Again, the return of Jessica Jones. It all kind of works out. And then it builds up to this great moment, which happens in the finale, which if you've been on TikTok at all for the last couple of days, that blew up all over TikTok. Where he pulls an I Am Iron Man, right? He's sitting there and there's this great sequence. He's not interviewing. Fisk is on the witness stand, right? Kingpin's on the witness stand, right? And they're doing the courtroom back and forth. Oh, and Vincent D'Onofrio gets his his A Few Good Men moment where they're like, I want the truth. Like, he's like, answer the question. And the prosecutor guy's like, don't answer the question. And Fisk yells out, I'll answer the question. You don't get to know. It's a very A Few Good Men moment. But right after that, he's like, come on, Fisk. We know that there was somebody else who was on the big boat. We know that there's somebody else who was a witness. You know who Daredevil is. I know who Daredevil is. And Fisk is like, you're an idiot. You're going down this road. And then Matt does the turnaround. He's like, I am Daredevil. Right? So again, the very I Am Iron Man kind of moment. Yeah. And it's an explosive moment. It does really, really well. I think Charlie Cox, and I think more so, and I know you've seen a lot of the Daredevil stuff. I think Vincent D'Onofrio was born to play Kingpin. Wouldn't you agree with that, Jay?
Oh, 100%. Oh my God. It's like Hugh Jackman and Wolverine, like you can't picture anyone else.
No, he's too good at it. Then there's a brutal fight scene. They make him big. I don't know how they do it with the cameras and stuff, but he's just bigger in this season. Like Kingpin, like you get that sense, like almost to the level of Powers, right? Like there's a brutal fight scene and he murders a lot of people in the last fight scene of the show. Also, I love what they did with Bullseye in this season. He kind of has a mini redemption arc after killing Foggy in season 1 and all this stuff. I also now want to see the Bullseye Hawkeye throwdown with the two guys that just don't miss targets with weird shit. That one is good. Disney, obviously, in spite of the fact that the viewing numbers have not been great. So if you haven't watched this yet, go watch this show. The viewing numbers have been bad. It hasn't cracked the Nielsen top 10.
Really?
Nope.
Guys, if you go watch this show, Alex will buy you a burger off of the Grogu menu.
There you go. I'm telling you, I don't know why. As it really is, this season is solid. It is solid. We do get kind of a stinger at the end. Luke Cage returns. Obviously, there's been a bunch of leaked set photos out there the last couple of weeks because they're working on season 3 right now. We know we're getting the return of the Defenders. Luke Cage is back. He comes in at the very tail end of that episode, but we know he's in season 3. We know Iron Fist is in season 3. We know Jessica Jones is in season 3. So, yeah, Jay, I know you've been super, super busy. I know you haven't had a chance to watch it. You've obviously seen a lot of the promo stuff. Do you think that they like, and you saw season one, do you think that what they're doing here, what they've been doing with Daredevil has been working for Disney? And do you think it helps that they're not dialing down on the violence? They're not dialing down on the stuff?
Uh, well, the thing that I'm worried about is, you cited it's not doing very well on the views.
Mm-mm.
So I'm worried that it's not doing good for Disney. But like, please, like, I want to like take a quick pause on that notion. I would actually be interested to see if there's a correlation between people canceling Disney Plus. So, for instance, cost of gas is higher for some weird fucking reason. The groceries are higher. Everything is higher. So like I don't know if there's like an increase in people canceling like online
You think there's a
subscriptions.
drop in
Way to
subs?
right to like cut back, which I would be interested in those numbers.
That's legit. That's a legit point to make.
Because yeah, to me that's like the first thing that goes, right? Is like cancel Disney Plus. Like if you're struggling,
Yeah.
cancel Disney Plus. But putting that aside, I I love it. I hope they continue to have these very adult, graphic, violent um TV shows because like that to me is like, yeah, okay. I do love your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see a soft, fluffy Punisher, right? Like
And
the
we're going to talk about that
Punisher.
in the next segment.
Okay. But there's characters that them being violent, it does the character justice, and I hope we see more of that. And I hope that the people in Disney Plus, if they are seeing a decline in subscriptions, they're able to kind of like realize it's because the economy is shit. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I now see that's making me wonder. Um, that's making me wonder. I also wonder because how many have they come back, after the Netflix stuff, because it is a different streaming service than it was originally on, you know, how much of this is kind of trepidation? That's the term I want to use about the MCU right now. While this latest phase, and we talked about this a lot, there's been some great shit that came out of this latest phase of the MCU. Thunderbolts was awesome. Deadpool and Wolverine was awesome. There's a lot of good stuff, but there's also been some kind of, especially with Disney TV shows, right, that have been very hit or miss. Secret Invasion, I'm looking at you, right? Let's just forget that happened. So I wonder if there's also some trepidation about Disney Plus television right now. So we'll find out as they keep going on the stuff. I'll be curious to see what the numbers are when they get going on it. So what did you all think? Did you watch Daredevil Born Again Season 2? Did you think it was as good as we did? Let us know down in the comments below. All right, we're rapid fire. We're going to go into our next one here. I'm not even taking down the spoiler tag, and somebody in the chat already mentioned it. Okay, if Daredevil Born Again Season 2 was the main course, One Last Kill was the thing that makes you realize the chef has been holding back especially on the adult side. This dropped Tuesday on Disney Plus. It's a 45-minute special presentation, which they're going back to doing the special presentations, which I like. And it was not messing around. Frank Castle's living off the grid, haunted, alone. This is all set concurrent with what's going on in Born Again Season 2 and why he wasn't there. And it shows what he was doing. He was finishing off crime bosses that were involved in the murder of his family because Punisher, right? Now, this was really the question going into this series and I saw this a lot, and I think you did too, Jay, and I'll be curious to know. A lot of people are like, they're going to dial down Punisher. They're going to make it less violent. Disney's Disney's weak. Did you hear that whining on the internet too?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. That was not a problem. That was not a problem at all. But before we, a lot of people were worried they were going to sand the edges off. They did not. The pen scene, and for those that have watched it, you know what I'm talking about. For those that haven't, oh my God, the pen scene. Wait till you get there. Okay. Way long. It goes on way longer than you think it will. Just this one scene. And it's brutal in the best possible way. This is hard R action, unlike anything Marvel's done since they took everything back. Here's one of the things that really impressed me, and I want to be specific about this. I am a combat veteran. I've seen a lot of movies try to depict PTSD, and most of them do it really, really, really poorly. One Last Kill does it better. Frank's psychological state at the start of the special, the hallucinations, the isolation, the drinking, and you see him, he's like in this, like, I'm working out and then I'm hammering down a half gallon of cheap whiskey and then I'm immediately yerping it into a bucket. Like there's a sequence there at the beginning that really it feels like an honest portrayal. It's not comfortable to watch. It's not supposed to be, and that was exactly the way that they did it. The final kind of like long fight scene, it felt very John Wick to me, if you know what I mean, Jay. Like, it was like he's got all these. I saw somebody the other night call them NPC bots, and I was like, it's all these like gangster guys coming after him, and it's just like, oh, you guys don't know what you just did. And yeah, if there is a sequence there where you're like, are they gonna die? Nope. No, it's brutal. And it is a solid like 15-20 minutes of just pure Frank just being Frank, right? It is what the Punisher's supposed to be. And then the other question coming out of it was, obviously we know because we've seen the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day, so we know Frank is there. He's got the costume on, right? He's back to the skull, right? How are we getting there? We get, I think, a little bit of that. We see the moment, which is kind of, there's like a mini time jump, where Frank puts the skull back on the minute he becomes Punisher again, right? Not just Frank Castle messing people up. And that's matters. Bernthal filmed the scenes for Brand New Day immediately after he shot this. So he went from shooting this to shooting Brand New Day. So the director, One Last Kill, said the whole point was to show what psychological state is when you meet him in that movie. There's also a point at the end that, again, just so wonderful, where he gets something back from the very beginning of the episode. It was just firmly solid. I know there were some people talking about the sound mix and some errors with some of the CGI. I'll be honest, my first view, I didn't even really notice them because I was just hyped watching. Jay, does it make you feel better knowing they didn't go PG-13 with this and that Disney's not afraid? I guess that would be the thing that I would say is does it make you feel better knowing they're not afraid to do this?
Yeah. Disney has surprised me in this, I don't know, in this way a few times. So like, for instance, we heard the same complaints about Star Wars. And they kind of came back with Andor, and I didn't think they had it in them to fucking just literally annihilate everyone in that fucking storyline at the end.
In Rogue One, yeah.
Or sorry, not Andor, yeah, Rogue One. But like it made sense to the storyline. That's why you don't see these characters. That's why you hear briefly them talking about what happened, but you don't see them because they all died, and they show that. So, yeah, Disney's not afraid. I think it's whatever like gives the little mouse more cheese at the end of the day, they're going to do it.
Yeah. Again, I can't extol enough how much Daredevil or Punisher One Last Kill was worth it. I actually went back and watched the Brand New Day trailer again after because I was like, can I in my mind connect this, right? And I'm like, yeah, Frank is killing people and chasing people down with a grenade launcher, right? And Spider-Man's like, stop that, stop killing everyone, go home, Frank. Like, yeah, all right, this all makes sense. I also like, and again, we're kind of there. And there's some complaints to be made, and I talked about it in the other Daredevil video that I did last week. Go check that out on YouTube. There's definitely some complaints about how they're interweaving all this stuff. You know, like where the fuck is Spider-Man during the events of Born Again Season 2? I get that. But I do think that there are elements that they are weaving together better than they used to. I think they're getting a better sense of how to connect the TV shows to the movies, right? And so I think that's going to work better. So again, I kind of get a sense of it. Okay, Peter in that trailer is like, no, Frank, we're not grenade launching people, right? You know, it's not what we're doing. So somebody in the chat pointed out, I love that he's done revenging his family, and that's a big part of the show, right? And there's again, we've got the spoiler tag up, so I don't even feel bad. There's a spot in the middle of the episode where he's done, right? He's killed all the people that have revenged his family, and he goes to his family, their grave, and he's about to kill himself, right? Because he's like, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm done. I did what I was gonna do, but I'm just exhausted now. Suffice to say, obviously, he doesn't do that. Cool. And again, this is really him finding that second piece where he's in the action sequence and then goes out and saves people. That's really where he's like, oh, I can do this for more reasons than just killing people for my family, right? This is where he becomes that extra thing. And so I really like that. Anyway, did you guys watch Punisher One Last Kill? Did you like it? What did you think about it? Put it in the comments down below. Couple of things. Go back and watch the Daredevil video. We are not getting Spidey and Daredevil. It's not happening. I address it in the Daredevil video. I'll address it again here. It sucks. Sony's deal with Marvel, right, is yes, Spidey in MCU. Yes, Spider-Man in Marvel movies. We're fine, right? So that's why Spider-Man can appear in Avengers movies or Captain America movies. He cannot appear on television in live action. Marvel can only do animated on television for Spidey. That's it. Okay? He cannot be in Daredevil. Daredevil, now there's some rumors, kind of based on some of the trailers and people think there's some I shouldn't say rumors, speculation that Daredevil will be in Spider-Man. Again. Because he was already in Spider-Man. But that he will be back in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And that's how he's going to get out of prison.
I think there is a loophole for Spider-Man to actually appear on TV. But only for the Punisher.
Maybe.
That involves a grenade launcher.
Yeah. Yes. Look, I know we want to say F Sony. But here's the thing. I want to go back. And by the way, Jay, actually, you might like this. So I was watching some stuff. You realize it's been 10 years since Captain America Civil War and the first appearance of Spider-Man in the MCU?
Shit. Wow. Damn.
It's been 10 years. When Marvel approached Sony to put Spidey in the MCU, because remember, he didn't appear in the Spider-Man movie. The first movie he appeared in the MCU was Captain America Civil War. Remember? Tony goes to Queens, right? And he recruits Spidey, and we see Aunt May, right? That was in a mainline MCU film. That's where they introduced Spider-Man. When they made that deal with Sony, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Sony is under no obligation to play ball with Disney. They could have told Kevin Feige to fuck off. And they would have been well within their business rights to do so. They could have said, you know what? No. No. We see what you guys are doing over there with Marvel. I keep in mind, Jay, I think you would agree with this too. In 2016, Marvel was king of the box office. There was nobody, and I mean fucking nobody, anywhere close to them. Right? It just wasn't there. Would you agree with that? Especially like right around that Captain America Civil War, that era where it was just Marvel banger after just kill them. Right?
Yep.
They did not produce bad movies back then, ever. Sony could have told Marvel to F off. Instead, what they did, and it was a good business decision for them, was they said, yeah, you know what? We're going to play ball, Disney. We're going to play ball with the House of Mouse. You can use Spider-Man. We don't have to. We own the rights. It's ours. We will lease the rights back to you. But we have plans too, like Into the Spider-Verse, which was great. So the fact that Sony's trying to hold some stuff back, I can't blame them. The other thing you can remember is they can change the deal. So there may come a point. Now, the other reason you probably won't see Spider-Man on TV is Kevin Feige has said this. Because they've done it, if you recall. He doesn't like crossing over movie characters to television. They want to do it rarely.
Yeah.
Okay. WandaVision, Hawkeye, but when they do that, Loki, notice what they do. What are they? They're main characters.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Hell, fucking Secret Invasion. Okay. Sammy J is a main character. All Marvel under one fucking umbrella. So there's two companies that have Marvel rights right now. NBC, Universal, and Sony, besides Disney. Okay. It used to be NBC, Fox, and Sony. Then Disney was like, screw you, we're buying Fox. Right? So now it's just Sony and Universal. Right? And Universal has all the Hulk rights, which is why they can't make Hulk movies. It's a weird thing about how the rights contracts were written up. Hulk can appear in Marvel movies, but if they make a Hulk movie, Universal gets to distribute it, not Disney. Which is why the only Hulk movie in the MCU, The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, was distributed by Universal, not Disney. And Disney doesn't want to give that up. And Universal is less apt to play ball than Sony is. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah. All right. Before we jump into the next segment, which is Jay with some quick hits for y'all because we've missed you for the last couple weeks. I will remind you, if you have any questions or you saw anything on the internet or anything controversial or anything weird in the world of politics or entertainment or news, throw them into the chat and we will try and get to those at the end of the show. If we get enough chat questions, we'll probably go pretty long tonight because we've missed you guys. I was gone 1 week, and then last week, weren't you sick last week? You were dying, right? Again?
Yeah.
Did you get the hantavirus?
No. But I did fuck up because I am traveling to India for work. And I got like 4 vaccines in one day.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
One of those was COVID, and yeah, it's amazing how like my body was sore one day, and then I woke up with like death the next day.
Yeah, that'll do it. All right, Jay, why don't you take us into this next segment?
Yes, quick hits. Okay, so, and this is I'm actually curious if you know who this is because your wife did not, and I was also very surprised. But Sky King documentary on Disney/Hulu. It came out, I think, like a month ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who that is, right?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
know the story.
Explain it to the people.
Okay. Okay, cool. I was like, am I like is it just because I'm like from Florida? I like latched on to the story. Anyways, local hero back in 2018, a 28-year-old Horizon employee, Richard Bebo Russell, took a commercial airliner on a joyride around Mount Rainier, the Cascades, and somehow managed to pull off a barrel roll, clearing the water by just 10 feet. If you do not know this story, there are just and the reason why this is like such a local hero is from my point of view, I'd be interested in your take here on Alex. The his employer, the airlines, were really just like fucking him and just treating him like shit. One day he had enough, and he really, in like the audio recording on YouTube, you can go, there's like hundreds of videos that people have made. He is like a very typical guy who just wants to enjoy some of the last moments of his life. Go check out Mount Rainier, the Cascades, and then, as he puts it, quote, nose down. Eh. Um, but yeah, he's like a very down to earth. Like he makes it very clear that he's not trying to hurt anyone.
I remember when it happened. I was watching it live on the news as it happened. He didn't keep stealing. He only stole the one plane, to answer chat's question.
What? Kept stealing
No,
planes? How do you
just the one
keep
plane.
stealing
Just the
planes?
one plane. And then he
What?
ended up crashing into, which island was that?
It's like one of the islands that has no one on it.
Yeah.
Mm, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so really awesome story. The documentary, like they kind of interview his family, his friends. You kind of get more into like the life of, him and kind of what they think led up to those events. But definitely check that out. I highly recommend it. Next subject here. So this one actually is already outdated since I put it in here. The headline here was the Trump Gold Phone scam. 6,000 people pre-ordered the Trump Gold Phone, put $100 down, and they may never get a phone. Obviously, after the insane outcry, I believe, on social media, and Trump supporters fucking cussing out Trump. There has been an announcement that Alex made me aware of just before the show that it does appear that they're going to start shipping the gold phones. But this is like one of those things where I'm like, this did not surprise me. Like when I heard like these people may never get a gold, like an actual Trump phone, I was like,
No, and I'll be honest. I think it's funny that it all kind of came together this week because it really started breaking on social media this week. That people were like, "Hey, wait a minute, where the hell are our damn phones?" It's not a very good phone. It has the Snapdragon 7, which is not a very. It's like an old chipset that was released like a year ago. It's running on Android 15, which is behind a full operating system because, Android 16 came out June of last year. It's got 512 gigs of storage. 50 makes it. It's got the triple camera, 6.78-inch screen. It it doesn't look very good. So even though they are actually getting it, good for you. You got a mediocre Android phone, like for
yeah,
$500. That's gold
I
and
think
has
you
Trump's
still
name on
got,
it.
I think you still got scammed, even if you get a working fucking phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really bad. So again, I find it hugely funny.
I do. I do too. So yeah. Next one. Also, this has changed, but I like this story a lot better as how I wrote it, so I'm just gonna fucking go with it. Um, so we have a new virus outbreak on a cruise ship, or I guess I should say we had a new virus outbreak on a cruise ship, which supposedly, allegedly, which maybe got like walked back, was because like these guys went on a couple went on an excursion to go watch bird watching at a landfill and just be like seagull, 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 encountered some rat shit or rats and then brought it back to the cruise ship. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. Like I'm not at the like the bird watching age, Alex. I'm not sure if you are, but like why the fuck would you go to a landfill?
because the birds go eat trash. I guess that's the
The
best I could come up
seagulls.
with.
The seagulls go to what? It's just seagulls.
Look, or I yeah, I first off, I've had people try and convince us, and we were almost convinced. First off, I think that cruise ships are just a bad idea. Okay. Okay. I just think cruise ships are a bad idea. Let's start there. Um, Again, latest update on this, which was as of today. The CDC is saying that they've got 41 people that they're monitoring, who includes 18 people in quarantine facilities in Nebraska and Atlanta. Those are the Americans they flew home after they got them to the Canary Islands. Fortunately for us, it appears that this hantavirus, like, it takes quite a bit. It's not like COVID where you can, inhale someone's sneeze and die. Um,
Yeah.
You've
You have
basically
to
got to
like
be,
lick rat turds.
well, and the human to human version, which is what we're worried about right now, you apparently have got to be in pretty close proximity, like living in a cruise ship with somebody for long periods of time, you know. So apparently this one is not like COVID was very much incidental contact will get you. Doesn't appear to be the case here. So good. I know there was a lot of jokes on TikTok of kind of going back and forth between like, okay, so what are we doing during this lockdown? Are we all, last time we did sourdough bread and dances. Like, what's this lockdown's like big thing gonna be? COVID lockdown is when I got on TikTok. That I downloaded TikTok because I was bored during lockdown.
Holy shit.
Um,
I would say like, if something does happen, if this mutates or some shit somehow, Alex, we need to move to Florida. I hate to say it, but we need to move to Florida because these viruses are not there in Florida. We can go to Universal still. You can go to Disney still. That shit never closes. And yeah, I think I've already said this multiple times, but during COVID, um, yeah, I think there was like actually an executive order, not an executive, but like the governor made an order to like not close shit. Like you could still go to bars and shit during COVID.
yeah, that was silly. I will say this: I was for a large portion of COVID jealous of people who lived in warm weather climates, right? Because I remember in like March and April when it's still kind of shitty up here, like people in California who were like, "Well, at least I have my pool out back," and stuff. So I'm all for like a warm weather lockdown. That way you can at least be outside a little bit, but definitely not moving to Florida. Um, but yeah, it looks like we're going to avoid pandemic this time, but shit. All right, what's the next one? I hadn't heard about this one.
What?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Oh, breaking news here. Yes. So there's a very viral video out there on the interwebs, on the TikToks, on the Instagrams, and also just on national news now, of a man throwing a coconut-size rock at a seal floating in the water. Um, it looks like in the video it doesn't hit the seal, but then like I did watch like a longer extended version of the video, and after the whole rock thing, like they were really upset because like the seal wasn't moving anymore. I don't know if it just like went to sleep or something. But anyway, so a man tried to throw and came pretty close, it looks like in the video, to hit the seal in the head with his coconut-sized rock. Now the thing is, this very specific seal in Hawaii, that's where this happened, is endangered and it
Yep.
is protected, and Hawaiians take that shit very seriously.
Well, and I'm looking at this article, and apparently everybody's taking it seriously.
Yes. The guy has been identified as from Seattle. Allegedly,
I'm gonna put
supposedly.
his name in the chat because I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that.
Let's see it.
Good luck.
Is that a fucking joke?
No,
Is that real?
I'm looking at the article right now. Some name
This,
that I can't pronounce. 38 of Covington, Washington. So you're right, he's from the Seattle area. Was seen tracking the movements. And yep, hurled the rock, and then told prosecutors he was, quote, rich enough to pay the fines.
yeah, he said, "I am from Seattle. I do this all the time. I'm rich. I don't fucking give a damn." Which I don't know, like what bitch ass name like that is doing throwing rocks at fucking anything. Like, damn, dude, that's
Uh,
like half the alphabet.
yeah. Look, I don't know what, you know, uh, by a vowel there needs to be told, but honestly, I hope they throw the book at him.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah, it's he's facing federal charges.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
that's I don't know, but yeah, that's some quick hits. What I wrote down in our like little rundown was Seattle man throws rock at seal in Hawaii. Since he's rich and he gets aloha,
Yep.
goodbye.
Screw that guy.
He will never be going to Hawaii. I guarantee you they've banned his ass. Like, so interesting. I didn't know his name was the fucking alphabet soup over here. Holy
Jesus.
shit.
You know what? Yeah. So listen, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I hope you go to jail. And go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think of all those stories? Let us know down in the comments below. Again, I'm going to toss it out there to you guys because I don't think I saw anything. If you saw anything in the chat this week, in fact, there's like 2 questions I've been waiting to see if chat rolls them in. Because there's a couple things that have been going kind of mini viral this week, but some stuff that I was like very iffy about whether I wanted to cover, and I was only going to cover if chat brings. I'm going to wait and see. I don't know how much chat's been on social media this week. But I know one of our regular watchers who is in the chat right now, if they saw this discourse going on again, would have pointed it out.
Shit.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff going on. So anyway, Jay, you're still up.
Okay.
Do you want actually? I'm gonna back out of this one again. Chat folks, if you want to throw something in there, go ahead. Do you want to cover this tonight? Like, I'm gonna leave that one to you. This one's a heavy topic. Or do we want to wait and see if we find out more?
We have found out more.
Have they said a motive yet?
Not a motive. We know the victim's name. We have a photo. We know a little bit more about the victim. She appeared to be a singer. She moved here from New Mexico. She had a quote gifted voice.
They have set bail.
Yeah, they set bail to 10 million. And that, fuck, we should just like get into it. I think everyone in the Seattle area has probably heard about. There was a recent deadly stabbing of a 19-year-old UW transgender student who was killed in a student housing laundry room. Obviously, our hearts go out to the victim's family, friends, classmates, as they, try to process what has happened.
And I think as kind of a side, kind of before we get to another section, we should say her name, right? Juniper Blessing is the name of the person that has been identified by Seattle police and the University of Washington as the victim of this crime.
Yep. And the main suspect that they had did turn himself in last night. He is going to appear back in court on Monday. As you pointed out, they set bail to 10 million. Um, he stabbed the victim over 40 times. Um, which I don't know how you can do that to somebody. But there's obviously this is a very horrific event. I think this happens way too often, but we kind of think of ourselves like very safe here in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously this hits really close to home for a lot of people. But there are a few points that I want to touch on. Um, First, typically cases like these are not covered by national news. So if you go to CNN right now, you will not see the story on there. You will see stories of other murderers that killed, you know, white, male, female, cis people. But you will not see this case on CNN. And typically you don't see this events like this covered on national news. And why is that? I think there's multiple reasons here. Most killings typically happen in small cities. Um, I think editors make judgments about like which deaths unfortunately matter to their audience, like what's going to generate their like views. Um, I think most newsrooms do not have a dedicated LGBTQ plus reporter, so stories get assigned to general assignment reporters who lack context, sources, and community trust. Because that is one thing, especially with the trans community, is that a lot of people are very like closed off to people. I'm very understanding. Also, journalists have to rely on police information, which police frequently misidentify victims' gender, and reporters often publish without correcting. Um, and when that kind of leads into when coverage does appear, it often causes secondary harm. So a lot of times the victim is dead named. That is using a person's pre-transition name in headlines and stories, and that is typically pulled from police reports. The impact of that on families and communities who must advocate for the correction of the news stories on top of what has already happened is pretty hard to go through. Um, and harmful framing reduces public empathy, complicates investigations, and reinforces stigma. Um, I will say, like, the lack of reporting on violence against trans people hides a major issue that most people don't want to hear. Um, there is a force that is actively trying to restrict the lives of a minority that we have. They are trying to take away their freedoms. They are simply trying to erase them. They are trying to control the narrative. They are trying to control the truth. This force is feeding those who are deeply angry about things that they can't control, and they're directing that anger to a very vulnerable minority group that just wants to have a normal life. And to put it simply, there is this invisible war that is going on against trans people that I think, unless you are trans or you know someone who is trans, either you don't notice it or you simply do not care. But Alex, I want to get your opinion on this. Why do you think news coverage only wants to show when like a trans individual does something like violent, for instance, some of the shootings that we've seen?
I think, and this goes kind of back to your national news and kind of, unfortunately, national news has now gone kind of like the what they've now become victims of what like YouTubers and things like it's victimization of the algorithm, right? 80% of the CNN coverage I see is that panel of wackadoodles arguing about dumb policy stuff at in the evening. Um, and I think a lot of it is that people don't know. Let's start with why people don't know. The statistics I'm saying is that first off, up to 88% of crimes against trans individuals aren't reported. They're just not reported. Nobody knows, right? For a lot of the reasons that you already stated. Trans individuals are reluctant to report crimes due to fear of harassment or lack of faith in the police, right? Dead naming and misgendering, because law enforcement media outlets will frequently do that. They may avoid reporting to keep themselves from being outed if they haven't been out, if they're not out to people in their lives. So I think part of it is algorithmization. I think that's the word I want to use. I think part of it is again, people just don't know. And again, like you said, unless you have exposure to the trans community, you're around the trans community and have conversations with the trans community and listen, I think that a lot of people just don't know. And unfortunately, and this is again kind of going back to the story that brought this up, the murder of Juniper Blessing, it's why? Like right now, I'm like, man, 40 times? Like, what the hell? Right? I'll say I'm glad the person who did this, the alleged suspect, is in custody. Good. I'm, it appears in this particular case that law enforcement identified a suspect, tried to figure out who it was. When they couldn't get an immediate one, they released the pictures to the media, right? And said, hey, who is this person? And that led to this person turning themselves in last night to the Bellevue Police Department. I'm sure they saw that when it went out. Okay, well, I'm caught now. I think this is a case we're going to have to follow to figure out why. But again, I think that, again, part of it is, again, people don't realize how bad the violence against the trans community is, right? And I think that part of it is, just again, it's not clickbait to them. And that's why they don't cover it. They just don't care. And they get more clicks on Trump outrage, They do. And it sucks.
Yeah. And part of why I did want to talk about this is like, one, just to like bring that awareness. But second, my sister-in-law has she actually pointed out when I told her about this story, she was like, wow, like there's a lot, like it seems like there's an uptick in violence against trans people in Seattle. Like I hope that's like not a trend. And I don't think, I mean, yes, there is, right? Like you can go through like the news stories recently. There's been multiple attacks at like bus stops. 2024, there was a person that was shot to death. But I, my first reaction is like, I don't think this is like an uptick. I think this is just simply like a trans person who, like, as these stories pop up, like talks about them now. And there probably is, unfortunately, some sort of small increase, because I do think there is like a lot of hate being generated towards this group. And I think a lot of people, because back in, I want to say March of this year, there was actually a person that was charged with a hate crime here in Seattle. He jumped a trans person at a bus stop, and he supposedly stated that he hopes Trump kills all trans people. And he was sentenced, I think, in March of this year. So you have these people who are looking towards people in power or administration, and they feel justified. They feel like they can get away with this kind of shit. And I don't get it. I really I try to like put myself in like other people's shoes. I try to like figure out like how are they thinking? Why do they do the things that they do? Stabbing someone 40 fucking times. You are like very up close and personal with that person. That they are most likely going to fight like hell. And to just keep going for 40 fucking times, you have to have you're either insane or you have like a deep hatred for that person.
Yeah,
And
this one I'm curious about because um yeah, I think that we need to keep following this case. This one's I'm curious about because police are not releasing much information right now, and I actually think that, by the way, let's actually put that on blast right now. I have not seen police or UW say much. And I know if I was a student, let alone a trans student at UW right now, right? Here's the question that I would have if I was a student there. Was this a random crime? Was this just was this someone who was out and was like, look, trans person, or was there a previous relationship between these two, right? Like, why? Because I would want to know if I was a person on that campus, because the answer to the why on this case changes how you're going to walk around campus. It changes how you're going to engage with people around that campus. I hate to say it, but do you go to the laundry room by yourself anymore? You know what I mean? Or are you going to the laundry room with a baseball? Like, I think that them, and now that the alleged suspect is in custody, I think it's important for UW and Seattle PD to release a little more information about what they think happened here, because they need to tell that community, again, the UW student body, the people who work there, right? And more specifically, the LGBTQ people who were part of that student body, like, what kind of precautions, what kind of things should they be doing right now based on these events? Does that make sense?
yeah, I am 100%. I will say there's probably some sort of attempted damage control with this, because there was an interview with another student who stated that the door, the lock on the door was actually broken and anyone could just enter this area. And it was reported many times for several months. And facilities chose like not to do anything about it. So I'm sure there's some sort of like trying to like mitigate a lawsuit going on right now.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, it is for those that are interested, Monday 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this person will be back in court, and we'll probably know more.
I think by next week we'll have probable cause documents, because court filings are public. So
yeah,
again, I think we'll have probable cause documents by next week, in which the prosecuting attorney, and by the way, again, the flip side of this is I'm glad we live in Seattle, right? Because, I don't think that a trans panic defense is going to work here, right? I don't.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It's not going to work on a Seattle jury. Sorry. Okay. The defense in court today, because he does have a constitutional right to a defense, so everybody calm the fuck down. Okay? They're like, hey, this should be second-degree murder, and the King County prosecutor was like, oh, no. We're going first-degree murder on this. Because even if, and again, if, because the defense is saying it wasn't premeditated. That's what they said in court today. Right, when they were doing the bail hearing. And the prosecuting attorney in King County is saying, even if it wasn't premeditated, the brutality of this crime denotes a first-degree murder charge. Tough crap. So I hate to say it. No, I don't. Never mind. I don't hate to say it. I'm generally against it. I'm generally against the death penalty. But sometimes I think we need it. Sometimes I do. This might be one of those times. We actually just got rid of the death penalty in this state like 3 years ago. In fact, I think we were the last state to hang somebody. Yep, we were the last state to execute someone by hanging in 1994. I remember that when I was a kid because we hung people. Like Washington was one of the last states that was like, nope, we use hanging. We use the gallows. So there you go. Yeah, like I said, we'll keep following this. Yeah. So it's a tough topic. So, but it's important to cover stuff like this. Want to take a breath for a minute, Jay?
Yeah, we can just segue over into like something a little bit more lighthearted.
More lighthearted. All right, chat. Give us some good lighthearted topics. Well, we've got more stuff in the rundown. But if you want to hear about anything, oh God, I'm so tempted to do this because one of our regulars is in the chat right now, and I'm tempted to do it, but I'm not going to. Nope, not gonna do it. I don't want to open this can of worms. Tempted to, but I'm not gonna.
God, open it.
No.
Open it.
The GameStop CEO Double Down responded to eBay saying, no, I really want to buy eBay though. Yeah, that's been a fun one to follow because eBay's like, where are you getting this so-called money? Like, no, we're not. My theory on why GameStop wants eBay is that GameStop has been moving into the TCG space, right? Like they're moving into Magic and Pokemon hard, right? And I think that's actually a good business move, right? I think doing TCGs as GameStop's thing is theirs. What most people don't know is, so TCG Player, which is the #1 marketplace for Magic and Pokemon singles, right? eBay bought them a few years ago. So the biggest marketplace for TCGs is owned by eBay. And I think that that's why GameStop wants them. Because then they could turn every GameStop into like a singles pickup place for Magic singles and stuff like that. And I think they see it as a good business move. I understand why GameStop wants to do it, but I'm with eBay. And there's this. Actually, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to do a couple things. I am going to open the can of worms, Jay. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay. Because it is Star Wars. There's been some discourse about Star Wars. So we're going to combine this in a kind of a dual segment.
What?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, are you ready? Here we go. So, Jay, next week we are going to go see Mandalorian and Grogu. First kind of reactions are out right now. This is the first theatrical Star Wars movie in what, 6 years? 7? 7 years. Almost 7 years. 6.5. Okay? And we're going, right? We're getting Star Wars in the movie theater. We've talked about this many times. Star Wars hits in the theaters, right? So, Jay, how are you feeling going into Mandalorian and Grogu? Okay, this is
I'm
going to
excited.
be two separate sections of the Star Wars topic. Do you think it's going to live up, or do you think it's going to feel like an extended TV episode?
So I'm excited. I'm always excited to go to a movie and see Star Wars. Um, um, I think it will live up. This is Disney.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
My biggest element of faith here is Jon Favreau, who gave us Iron
yeah.
Man and a lot of other good movies, right? Jon Favreau is a great director. I've been a fan of his for 20 years, more than 20 years. So I have faith in Jon Favreau.
Yep.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling nervous about this movie. I haven't liked the marketing. I think the trailers have been lackluster. Right? I'm not feeling good about this, honestly. I'm not going in with very much optimism. So, initial tracking on this is out. It's tracking to open at about the same level as Solo, a Star Wars story. Do you think the tracking's high or low on this?
Remind me, did Solo open up high and then
No.
drop off drastically, or it
No.
opened low and just bombed?
It only made 84.4 its opening
Oh,
weekend.
okay.
Right
I'm
now
gonna say
they're
higher.
they're tracking Mandalorian and Grogu between 75 and 85.
Yeah, I'm gonna say higher.
You think it's going to go higher than that? Do you think
Yep.
everybody just loves Baby Yoda that much?
Yep.
All right, let's because we can do a couple of things while we're talking about this. Again, why are you optimistic?
Uh, because I'm trans and there's not a whole lot to be optimistic about in my life. No, I'm kidding. Damn. People tell me my jokes have been like so fucking dark lately.
You sound like it, buddy.
But no, I'm optimistic because I think like Solo fucked up because you took one of the most beloved Star Wars characters and you took a huge gamble and you recasted that person. And I don't think a lot of people liked that. In this case, you have a established couple of characters that everyone, not everyone, but the majority of people really love and like. You have that cuteness factor. That cuteness factor is going to draw like kids wanting to go to the movie. They're going to drag their parents to it. So yeah, I think this is a completely different animal than Solo.
Okay. I'm looking at the advanced screening on Thursday on AMC. Not completely sold out, but what's left is kind of the crap tickets. This is the Dolby, right? The laser IMAX at 7:30. Again, kind of the dredge is left. That's pretty much all that's left. So could Bearwell. What's Friday looking like? Let's take a look. All right.
Oh, shit. But I'm dumb because I already made this point earlier tonight. If people are struggling with the increased cost of gas and food and everything,
Yeah.
they're not going to fucking come out to the theater.
Well, but the thing is they have been this year, right? Mario made almost $1 billion. Devil Wears Prada, again, we talked about this, $440 million. Project Hail Mary, $650. They're coming out for movies, right? Again, my biggest one on this one is, again, the marketing, I think, has been kind of lackluster. I think the trailers haven't been great. And I'm not sure how that's going to play. I hope it does better. And here's the thing. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we walk out of this movie next Thursday and I'm like, yeah! You know, I hope I'm fucking jumping for joy. Okay? I really am. But I'm not optimistic. And so the second part of this discussion, right, in the how well does Mandalorian and Grogu do, is what does Star Wars do if this is a disaster for them financially, right? And the reason I asked that question too is, once again, the internet's out there going, reboot Star Wars, reboot Star Wars, reboot Star. I have seen so many people out there going, Disney should reboot Star Wars. I saw a bunch of it on YouTube. I saw a bunch of it on TikTok. It's that time of, I don't know, every other year or so where it was like, Disney should reboot Star Wars. And so I'm like, what? Why? Why are you people? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Jay, much like the chat is yelling right now, reboot the franchise. Okay. I'm going to start with you, Jay. Two questions. One, should they reboot the franchise? And two, will they reboot the franchise? So start with, should they reboot the franchise?
I would say no, because I don't know if this is, but it would be a really, really smart move for Disney if they used that Solo movie as a little taste to see how audience would react if they did recast Han Solo. And the feedback from that was like, fuck no. So I like, if that was like a marketing test to like test the waters, I would say like no, like yeah, because like audience, it did not connect well with audience members. And also, fuck, dude, get the fuck away from the fucking Death Star or the Death Star 2.0 or the Death Star 3.0. Fucking leave the Skywalker fucking family. You have an insanely huge fucking universe. Jump back a million years before the fucking Death Star and do a fucking movie. Like, just get off the timeline. Get off that timeline.
Okay. So,
Knights of the Old Republic. Give me a fucking movie.
I'm with you there. So, I'm gonna attack this from, again, two angles. Should they? No, they shouldn't. Right? And I'm going to agree with you on the same point, right? And the parallel I'm going to draw here is this Harry Potter show.
Oh.
I don't see anybody jumping for joy about this Harry Potter. Like, the hype for this one is pretty muted. Okay? So I think that Star Wars is actually worse, right? For two reasons. One, let's say you reboot it from the jump, okay? I don't think you ever captured the magic of episodes 4, 5, and 6. It's not gonna fucking happen, okay?
Yeah.
It was lightning in a bottle. It was right place, right time, right cast, right team, right directors, right writers, right everything to make that the cultural mainstay that it was. Because it was, okay? So that's number one. That's why I don't I don't think that. Now, somebody in the chat is fighting me on my Harry Potter argument. And they're saying, but they didn't fuck up Harry Potter with bad movies and TV shows. I give you The Cursed Child. I give you what was the ones with the dang with the animal guy?
Oh.
The 3 movies they did. I can't even think of them.
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts. Thank you. Okay. Oh, they didn't? Oh, they absolutely did. They absolutely
And
did, which is why they're going back to the well with a reboot, right? My opinion as to why Warner Brothers is going back to the well with a reboot is two things. One, JK has no more new ideas, right? She just doesn't, okay? She can't think of anything new, and she's got a stranglehold on this franchise, which means until she dies, you can't write anything new, okay? And number two, um, they need to do something with the IP, right? Which is why they're rebooting it, because they've got nothing else they can do. Because there's no new ideas, right? Like there's nothing. They've got nothing in the pipe. So saying that Harry Potter didn't make bad movies or stuff, yeah, they did. Which is again why they're rebooting now. Okay. Again, I don't see a lot of hype with the Harry Potter stuff. And again, I think it's lightning in a bottle. You're never going to recreate 4, 5, and 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, number 2, the other reason I don't think they should, because because they have, and you actually pointed it out, and I think this is what they're gonna do, right? And I'm gonna reiterate and pound home a couple of points you made. Get out of the Empire era right now. Stop it. Okay, we're done. We've got it. Yep, there was the Empire and the First Order, and yep, we know what happened. We're done. We're done. Stop it. Okay, and I think that Mandalorian and Grogu should be the last. That and Ahsoka Season 2, when they finish that up, those should be the last two things that are set in that era. Okay? Dave, I love you. I know you love the Ahsoka character. I know you don't know how to quit it. It's like Brokeback Mountain up in here. Okay? I don't know how to quit you. Okay? Dave, listen to me. Move on. Now, I think they are. Based on everything I'm reading, the movie that comes out next year, Star Wars Starfighter, takes place 5 to 10 years after Rise of Skywalker. Okay? That's all they got to do. Don't reboot. Give yourself some space. Okay? Give yourself some space. Okay? Or like you said, give me Knights of the Old Republic. Give me that one that they said James Mangold was doing of the origin of the Jedi. Let's go back 20,000 years and talk about the origin of the Jedi Knights and the Sith. I'm good with that. Okay? Because then you're not tied to what's already been written. I think one of the problems they had was, again, I think episode 9 wrote them into a corner, and they didn't know how to write their way out of it for a long time. And so, again, I think that the easiest way to get out of that corner and revitalize the franchise is to get some time distance. Right? Break out some time. And again, my understanding is Starfighter is going to be removed enough from episode 9 that it's basically new. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What I think would be kind of cool to do, but like besides like Knights of the Old Republic, but give us like a trilogy that's focused on the Sith, and then at the end of that trilogy comes about the Rule of Two.
That would be cool too.
That would be pretty dope.
I would like that too. And again, that goes back thousands of years. You've got lots of room, right?
Yeah.
Again, I will say that in my opinion, right? The majority, hour for hour, of stuff that they have put out since Disney bought Star Wars has been good. Right? Okay. Yeah. And I will fight people on that. Okay. Force Awakens was fine. Rogue One was great. Last Jedi was mid. I actually think Solo gets kind of a bad rap, and I think Alden Ehrenreich kind of got screwed there. I don't think it's that bad of a movie. I think it's okay. I don't think
Yep.
it's great, and I love Donald Glover as Lando. I've said it 1,000 times. He was
Yeah.
so good as Lando. Um,
Yep.
so again, I put that one in the mid. The Mandalorian has been fine. It was good, right? I liked the Mandalorian. I actually liked the Ahsoka series, right? Had no issues there. Book of Boba Fett was kind of mid. Andor was great,
Andor's insane, and there's no fucking Jedi.
right? Skeleton Crew, the one with the little kids, and Jude
Yep.
Law, that was great. Rebels was great, right? The final season of Clone Wars was great. The Bad Batch was great. So yeah, I would say the majority of what they put out has been fine. And on the movies, if we're just looking at the movies, there's been 5 films released, and they're basically batting just over 500. Right? Rise of Skywalker is really what just that really threw the franchise for a loop. And I think I don't know. So the should they? No. Because you've got other options, right? Fuck. Skip ahead 30 years from episode 9. It's been 30 years since the death of the First Order. Done. Okay? Done. Okay? And just do something new. No more Death Stars. Get out of the Empire era. Come up with a new bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and again, do I think they will? No. It would be the biggest retcon and walk back in the history of forever. It's just not worth it. Not when you've got other options. Okay?
And yeah, I seriously don't see them doing it because like they will like legit. I guarantee you, if this gets brought up in like in a executive meeting, one of the executives are literally going to pull out the numbers for the Han Solo movie and be like, "No, we recasted Han Solo. It did not do well. Like,
No.
no."
You can't do it. Somebody in the chat's pointing out they're retreating a little bit at Galaxy's Edge. Yes. Really what they're doing is they're just moving some of the other Star Wars stuff from Tomorrowland into Galaxy's Edge, which is fine. They're adding the original trilogy, and I don't know if have you ever been at Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land?
Yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
this is my lightsaber.
So all they're doing now, so when you come into Galaxy's Edge from the main entrance, the front area, the big primary front area, that's now original trilogy. And then when you take the little path to the left back toward Rise of Resistance, right? That ride, that's all First Order still,
Okay.
right? And so they're doing that. And then, yeah, John Williams music, they're pumping into the main section. So I don't think that that's bad. And again, you could retool the Millennium Falcon ride to be normal era if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It really, it's not, that wouldn't be too heavy of a lift for the folks there at Disney. So, again, they're not going to. Again, and I had no issue with them. Even when I went to Galaxy's Edge the first time and they were focused on the sequels, I had no issues with it. Rise of the Resistance really is a great ride, right? It's so well done.
Did you build your own lightsaber?
I did not. Well, that's another segment altogether. I can talk about that. I did spend an inordinate amount of time at the cantina.
That's funny.
I love the cantina.
Okay. Real quick, if you are in the Galaxy's Edge area, I highly recommend doing this because this guy is hefty. This is metal.
Yeah.
And you do customize it. You pick all of these parts. And this guy like weighs like, I don't know, 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it feels like
it's a whole ceremony too. Like it's an experience thing.
You have to
right?
get your crystal, you put your crystal in your lightsaber, and then
Yeah,
the Jedi Masters help you, like, turn it on, and
yeah.
it's pretty s if you're a Star Wars fan, please do it.
Galaxy's
Plus
Edge is very immersive. I thought they did a great job with it. I really like Galaxy's Edge.
Yep.
I even did the little mini games on my phone when I was there, like hacking things and finding bounties, and I did. Okay, the first time I went to Galaxy's Edge, I went ham in that place. Okay, I said I had my little mobile app out, and the First Order stormtroopers could track where you're going when you're actually participating. Uh,
Hmm.
so it's a whole thing. I love it. Okay. Um, so again, should they? No. Will they? They're definitely not going to. Okay. Again, I think they get a little spooked again if Mandalorian Grogu. It's got to do better than. It has to do better than Solo. It really does. I think that's the number. Solo did 392. I think Mandalorian and Grogu's got to do 450. 450 to 500 million, and I think they're okay. Right? I'm really curious about the marketing that's going to go into Starfighter. Sean Levy knows how to promote his films. Um, it's good. I don't know which words chat wants me to eat right now. Probably the should they? No. Will they? No. Um, again, I the reason I generally stay away from this topic, right, is I find it mildly pointless because again, it's an obvious answer. Okay. And again, I think Jay, if you look at Solo as, that, so going to the original trilogy, how do you recast Harrison Ford? You fucking don't. How do
No.
you recast Mark Hamill? You fucking don't.
Nope.
Okay. You can't. You can't. Okay. Going to the prequels. I'm sorry. There's no better Obi-Wan than Ewan McGregor. I loved Sir Alec Guinness. I do. And his portrayal of Obi-Wan is timeless. But Ewan McGregor was better. Right? He was amazing in the prequels. Okay? I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry. He was. You can't recreate that. Right? And again, I
Yeah,
think this is the mistake Warner Brothers is making with Harry Potter.
and actually, I mean, we also saw this with, Transformers, and I think you phrased it perfectly, like, you have lightning the first time. I remember the very first Transformers movie when you see Bumblebee stand up for the first time, it is, like, the most groundbreaking fucking thing, and it was the right timing, you had the right cast at the time, um, and just that fucking you see Bumblebee go from car to robot, you're like, "Holy shit," but then 2 or 3 movies later, you don't give a fuck anymore. You're like, "Okay, explosions, robots, cool." Um, yeah, Harry Potter did the same thing with Fantastic Beasts. You know, you can't recapture that magic unless you have really good world building, which Star Wars has, and then you have, like, what I would say is, true innovation. Get the fuck away from the Empire and go build somewhere else in a different timeline, new characters.
Distance again, time, I think would, if you were going to reboot it, you basically have to shut Star Wars down right now and not touch the franchise for 20 years and then do it. Then you can do it. Okay? Make nothing for 20 years. Okay? So that everybody gets it out of their systems and da da da. Then you reboot it. Then you start over. Okay? I think that's the only way they're going to do it. Again, I am very, very worried about some of these reboots that are coming. Again, and you don't need to. Get away from it. You can rebuild the franchise. You'll be fine. Get a new era. Okay? We can move the fuck on. One last thing, Dave, if you're watching. Okay? Because people in our chat have been talking about the EU. You brought back Thrawn. I love Thrawn. Thank you for bringing back Thrawn into the mainline Disney canon. I was so happy about that. I love Grand Admiral Thrawn. But I swear to fuck, I will boycott if you bring back the Yuuzhan Vong. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? I beg you. Don't do it. All right. So that's our thoughts. What do you think? Do you think Mandalorian Grogu's going to be good? Are you with Jay and optimistic, or me and a little pessimistic? Should they reboot Star Wars? If you say they should, that's your opinion. Will they? They're not going to. But let us know what you think down in the comments below. All right. I'm saying no Yuuzhan Vong both because they are meh and because of what they did to Chewie. Okay? And anybody that defends the EU, I'm fucking sorry. That was... When I first read how they killed off Chewie, I was okay with it. And the more I thought about it, the more I fucking hated it. What they did in the EU, specifically to the Solo family, I'm sorry. First off, if you did that to mainstream movie audiences, they would fucking revolt. Okay? Han and Leia go through it. They have 3 children in the old EU. And only one of them's alive at the end. Right? Anakin's fucking killed. Okay? By fucking Vong mutated Vornskers. Right? And I hate to fucking say it. Kylo Ren was them ripping off the EU somewhat. Jason, what happens to him? He falls to the dark side, becomes a fucking Sith Lord, and his sister fucking kills him. Okay? So at the end of it, yeah, and see, again, chat, you're saying I hate the fucking storyline. That's why anybody who comes to me and is like, the EU was great. The fuck it was. The EU had some great stuff in it. The EU also had some garbage in it. Go read the Crystal Star. And tell me that everything the EU wrote was good. Screw you. No, it wasn't. Race Squadron was great. Rogue Squadron was awesome. The original Vaughn trilogy, great. The Vaughn duology, awesome. The Thrawn duology. Oh my God. No, everything, again, go read the Crystal Star again. Oh my God, it was so bad. Oh, it was so bad. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Vonda McIntyre. 1994. Oh, look. Her children are kidnapped by Imperial loyalists. God, hang on. You guys are going to make me do this. Legends novels. Here we go. Thank you, Wikipedia. Oh my God. Yeah, there were so many bad ones. God, they really did just crap out novels left, right, and sideways. Oh, Planet of Twilight. That one was bad too. Oh my God. That one was terrible. Terrible. Shield Tyrant's Test, that was okay. New Rebellion was not very good. The Corellian trilogy was okay. But then you get into the Vong and it was just bad. It went on way too long. Oh, and then the Fate of the Jedi series. God, I forgot about that. So, no, it was not all good. It was very mixed, whether it was good or not. Some of it was good, some of it was bad. Sorry. All right, should we do this one last topic and then call it a night, or you want to save it? I got the upfronts for Paramount.
I don't know. It's up to you.
I don't know. We'll ask chat. Chat, do you want us to talk more about this Paramount? Because the Paramount Warner Brothers thing is ongoing. It's ongoing, right? We've covered it a lot, but again, it seems like every week something new happens. Again, I'm not that. On balance, I'd say there's more good Star Wars Legends than bad. Again, and I make the same argument about Disney Star Wars. On balance, the majority of what they've produced has been pretty good. Right? Like, on balance, it hasn't been bad. Keep going on Paramount. Okay, we'll talk about this because they did do upfronts this week. Okay. So this week, all the networks are doing upfronts. What are upfronts? It's when they go and they talk about what's happening this fall. This used to be a much bigger deal than it is now because this is when they would set up stuff for the advertisers for the fall, which was a big deal back when terrestrial networks were more of a big deal. It is still something that all of the networks do. But what are we going to talk about this week? The Warner Brothers Discovery team did their upfronts, and a lot of people felt it felt like a wake. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is their annual Dog and Pony show. However, what was funny about it is one of their ad sales guys during the upfront, here he says, quote, "Good partnership is what drives us here at Warner Brothers Discovery. So before we go on, we want to address the elephant in the room." And we all know what that's talking about, right? David Ellison, who's working on buying Warner Brothers by Paramount. Okay? And again, the reason the upfronts for Warner Brothers look bleak this week is if it closes on time, Warner Brothers has no idea what's happening, right? Because Paramount. Okay? So what is going on right now? Because again, we've talked about this a lot on this show. Go back and watch our other YouTube videos. What's going on now? The week before the upfronts, Paramount's chief legal officer sent a letter to the California Attorney General, which is one of the people who can stop this deal, making the full case about why they think the merger should go through. And it is a polished argument. The pitch is Paramount has 6% of U.S. streaming. Warner Brothers Discovery has 5%. Combined, you get 11% of U.S. streaming. Netflix is sitting at 32.5%. Disney's at 17%. Amazon's at 15%. The argument is that neither Paramount nor Warner Brothers can compete with Netflix, Disney, or Amazon alone. And together they have a fighting chance. And honestly, he may not be wrong about that. But his letter leaves out the part that actually matters. And that part, again, is the debt. To close this deal, Paramount is taking on $79 billion in debt. Let's put that in context. They're projecting 6.5 times leverage of earnings at close. That means whatever they're earning, 6.5 times that's what they're taking out in debt. The plan is to get that down to 3 within 3 years, which sounds manageable until you look at how it's going to happen. Cost synergies, streaming growth, and revenue holding steady across business that's in decline right now. Linear TV revenue at Warner Brothers is dropped 13% in Q4 in last year. Paramount's TV unit fell 5% in the same period. They aren't stable foundations to build a $79 billion debt load. As we covered before, Fitch downgraded Paramount to junk, which it still is, in March, before the deal closes, and institutional investors are gonna have to buy this debt. And right now, they're not sure about it. Okay? These are not activist critics either. These are buy-side analysts looking at the numbers. And then there's where the equity is coming from. $24 billion of this deal is funded out of the sovereign wealth funds. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment, Qatar Investment Authority, Abu Dhabi's Lamad Holding. Paramount had to ask the FCC for special permission to exceed normal foreign ownership limits. Can we guess if the Trump administration approved it, Jay?
Yes.
The Ellison family can't get this deal done without that. Okay? And now there's also the opposition case being made, and it's coming from places within Hollywood. Mark Ruffalo, yes, Bruce Banner, the Hulk. He showed up, in our lovely brand new day trailer. He co-wrote an op-ed in the New York Times with economic policy analyst Matt Stoller, arguing the California AG should block the deal on antitrust. And the actual argument is worth taking seriously. The core point that we've seen this movie play out every time a major merger of this happens, and it always ends the same way. AT&T originally bought Time Warner, layoffs. Discovery merges with Warner, HBO gets gutted, layoffs. Okay? They had to deal with the debt service. That's what happens when the bills come due. The chilling effect that they're talking about in the op-ed is also already happening. And this is the one that is the most dangerous. An independent trade publication called The Ankler reportedly had Paramount pull their advertising after the editor was seen wearing block the merger buttons at CinemaCon. CNN reportedly declined to book Ruffalo to talk about the merger because, I'm quoting, it's a delicate subject given Warner Brothers Discovery is our parent company. CNN has denied this, but I'm not sure. Here's the other part. This is the culture stakes version of this. And this is the most important one too. The Warner Brothers library is arguably the single greatest collection of entertainment assets ever assembled outside of Disney. Everything in DC's catalog, Harry Potter, The Matrix, Looney Tunes going back to the 1920s, HBO's complete run of everything, The Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones, Succession, Deadwood, Casablanca, CNN's entire news archive. If the deal closes and the debt becomes unserviceable 4 to 5 years from now, okay, and at 6.5 times leverage, that's not crazy. Those assets don't get protected. They get auctioned, and whoever bids the highest. In a distress sale, the buyer has no obligation to treat The Sopranos or Casablanca as anything other than a financial instrument. We've seen it happen at smaller scale with Miramax, with Orion. The IP survives, but the creative ecosystem around it gets severed from the people and institutional knowledge that knew how to make it mean something. How many times, Jay, have we seen movies that we really would love to watch and you're like, oh, where's this streaming? Oh, it's streaming nowhere because it ended up in rights limbo and nobody's licensed it to one of the streamers. Okay? The shareholders are getting paid when the deal is approved. Okay? The risk is now on the content, and that's the thing that terrifies me, especially since we've lost track of all of our physical media. So when the Warner Brothers ad guys are up at Madison Square Garden making Freudian slips about the Ellison in the room, that's not a bit. That's an entire company and a historic film library that we don't know what it looks like in 12 months. So, do you buy this bigger is better for competition argument from Paramount, or does the other stuff scare you more?
I think the other stuff scares me more. Yeah. Definitely.
At this point, the Federal Trade Commission they've let it fly by, so the feds aren't doing anything, but we knew that. We knew the Trump administration was not going to oppose this. The EU regulators are looking at it right now. UK and EU regulators could pump the brakes on this, but really it's California. It's the state of California. Given the makeup of the courts, given everything else, we'll start with California. Do you think California has a shot of taking this to the courts and stopping this?
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's a shot.
Because it's going to go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. I think there's a shot. Never tell me the odds, kid.
Yeah. I wish I had more faith in the court, but I don't. I think foreign regulation may be the thing that stops this. Again, from the jump, I think you and I were in agreement on this. I think Warner Brothers should have stayed independent. They had such a good 2025. They blew it out of the water. Warner Brothers was on the upswing, right? And it really irritates me that this came to this, because all David Zaslav was going to do was he was going to keep Warner Brothers independent. He was going to spin off Discovery and all the TV networks as a separate company. He's like, look, Warner Brothers will stay Warner Brothers, da-da-da-da-da. The problem is it's a publicly traded company. So he has no control. If Netflix and Paramount come in and start making bids, there's just nothing he can do. He has no legal ability to stop it from happening. You know, and we even saw Paramount when Warner Brothers had accepted the Netflix deal, Paramount was threatening a hostile takeover, which they could have done theoretically. Um, yeah, again, I didn't just notice the thing in chat. Warner didn't really want to sell. David Zaslav has what's called a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders, right? Jay, you may be able to add more to this too, as I know you're Mr. MBA. Zaslav answers to the shareholders. He answers to the, sorry, let's rephrase this. Zaslav answers to the board of directors. The board of directors are elected by the shareholders, the people who own shares in Warner Brothers, the public. David Zaslav and the board have what's called a fiduciary responsibility. Their job is to make sure that they're making money for the shareholders.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, it's literally like a simple way to think about it. It's literally a job. It's their job to try to increase value of the stocks that the shareholders own and generate more value.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, if they don't do it, if they don't do a good enough job, that's when goodbye. Yeah, it's just like a job. And if you're not hitting your numbers, if you're not performing well, if shareholders believe that you're not acting in the best interest of the shareholders, then they can get rid of you.
Mm-hmm. Um, and as far as the shareholders, and this may be another segment we cover another time. Keep in mind when we talk about shareholders, a lot of times it's pension funds, right? The government pension fund global, which is one of the big pension funds. This is how pension funds keep themselves solvent, is they invest in companies and get returns. Government pension fund global owns almost 38 million shares of Warner Brothers.
Holy shit.
Okay. There are a lot of pension funds, teacher pension funds, things like that own shares in these companies. So again, they have a fiduciary responsibility to make money. Again, Zaslav didn't really want to sell, but when you're a publicly traded company, and again, that's a lot of what a hostile takeover is. And again, I'm oversimplifying. I think Jay will agree with me. I'm oversimplifying. A hostile takeover is as simple as I am company A, and I just go buy enough shares to take over. Right? I need 50% plus one share. Now I'm in charge. Now I own your company. Okay. Pensions shouldn't be on the open market. That's there's an argument to be made there, but that's it's not part of this segment, sadly. Yeah. So again, I'm kind of hoping this deal gets scuttled. I really am. Good luck, California AG. Any closing thoughts on this one, Jay?
No.
No. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. I don't know. Give us something more cheerful to cover before we close. I saw Devil Wears Prada 2. It's very, very good.
I liked it.
It's a very good movie. We're getting into good movie season now.
Yes.
There's a lot of good shit coming. Oh, actually, Jay, why don't you talk about Mortal Kombat 2?
Yeah. I should have watched the first one. This is like my only
Apparently you don't need to watch the first one. They changed stuff.
I mean, obviously I watched the first one when it first came out, but like I wish I would have gone back and rewatched it. Because I will say with like this one, there's not a whole lot of like background story. You jump into the kind of Mortal Kombat, like, hey, it's the last tournament. Earth has to win this tournament. We're short a fighter. Let's go get our last fighter and let's fight. And that's it.
how is Carl Urban as Johnny Cage? The previews made it look good. How is Carl Urban as Johnny Cage?
I loved it. I thought it was really great. I I liked it a lot. It's that's probably like my favorite part of Mortal Kombat was him, to be completely honest.
Um, obviously, we get some more Scorpion goodness. Did Sub-Zero come back?
Sub-Zero does come back. Yep.
Scorpion's back, right? Which we
Yep.
get Homeboy from Shogun again. He can do
Yeah,
Shogun and cheesy action movie.
it's just so much like just complete range of this character of this individual. I'm
Yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada is awesome.
Yes. I thought like that was pretty badass. So if you remember, uh he died in the first movie. Not a spoiler.
Yeah, but he's
So
already dead. Like he's Skullface guy.
oh yeah.
Scorpion is.
So they go talk to him in hell,
Oh, cool.
and it's like this very peaceful like Zen garden. And they're like, wow, this is like really nice for hell. And I guess it's like kind of a spoiler, but Scorp uh he's just like, what does he say? Shit. He's like, I bend hell to my will, because like basically he can make hell like look whatever he wants it to look like. So he
Nice.
can be like very peaceful in Zen Garden, or he can be like, fire and shit. But like yeah, I thought that was pretty badass. Yeah, it's I enjoyed it. It was a very enjoyable movie. I could see where like a lot of people went in there, because there was a lot of talks of like, I guess there was like kind of like a when Mortal Kombat first came out in theaters, like it was on the up, and then like I guess it got some really bad reviews, and then it just like dropped. um I can see why like people might not like it if you're going in there and you're wanting to see like a masterpiece of a fucking movie, but if you go in there like expecting to watch a Mortal Kombat movie, you're going to like it.
It's only been out for a weekend. It has not premiered in Japan yet.
Well,
Um,
get over there.
yeah. So it's only been out for a weekend.
How's it doing?
Um, it did 38 million its opening weekend, so not terrible for what it is.
Right.
Okay.
And that's my thing. Is like, don't go in there expecting like a fucking, I don't know, like the Green Mile or
Yeah,
something.
and that's
right?
kind of what I had heard, which is if you're going in there again, like Transformers, really, I mean, it's got a 65% critic rating, which isn't bad, right? That's still, still a tomato, not splatter. And the verified audience rating is 89%. So not bad. Again, it looks pretty solid. Um, yeah, we're getting into some good stuff coming up. Obviously,
Now,
Mandalorian.
yeah.
Spider-Man comes out in July. Here's the other one. So the Masters of the Universe movie is tracking for a $25 million opening, which is bad. I mean, real bad, especially for a $200 million film.
No.
We may have to go review this one just so we can hopefully get it a little bit of hype. I see the thing is, and I said this fucking months ago when we saw the first trailer. We covered the first trailer. It looks like the D&D movie to me.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm like, this is going to be a fun movie. And they have no idea how to market this. None. Zero. And that's what I'm seeing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be out of town.
Fuck. You know what movie I'm actually excited to see?
What?
Clayface.
That looks like it's going to be freaky. Oh, that was the other one I'm excited to see. That was another trailer that came out this week, and they've got some viral marketing going. Backrooms.
Yes. I didn't even know that was in the fucking works.
Oh,
until I
yeah.
saw the trailer. Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, first off, I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. Okay. He is one of my favorite actors of all time. I have loved him in going all the way back to, God, what did I first see him in? Inside Man? So yeah, I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's got the girl from Shrinking. Jason Segel's daughter from Shrinking is in it. And it's getting its initial reviews are good. Really, really good. So that Masters of the Universe, Godzilla -1 is coming back out. Then again, we got Toy Story 5. I'm sorry, I just won't sleep on a Toy Story movie. They're too good at making them. And then, actually, before we get to Spider-Man, we get Supergirl. Kara Zor-El, let's go. And you know what? The one that I know you're most looking forward to, this thing. And this is, just goes to show, maybe we should let Paramount buy one of those. Because you know what big movie they've got coming out this summer? Jackass. Fucking Paramount. No, but we got about a 2-month stretch here.
And I'll fucking say it, okay? I know, but I'm excited to go see Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's in the fall. I'm curious about that. But yeah, I'm just looking at the next 3 weeks. We got Mandalorian and Grogu next week. The Backrooms is the week after that. What else is coming? Masters of the Universe is the week after, the week after that, after Backrooms. Toy Story 5 is 2 weeks after that. The week after Toy Story 5 is Supergirl.
Nice.
Another fucking Jackass. Why? Because Paramount has no ideas. They don't know what to do with Star Trek. They just don't. Yeah, we're opening that can of worms. They have no idea what to do with Star Trek. They have no idea what to do with their own IP. They have no money. They're broke. Okay. That's it. All right, everybody. I'm getting from outside my studio eyeballs. So I'm going to have to go. Been a long show. Thank you all for joining us. Again, probably not a show. Well, may have to move some stuff around next week, so we might be able to have a show. Because we got Mandalorian Grogu next Thursday, so keep your eyes open for that. Again, please go support us on the YouTube channel. Jay, let's say goodbye to the lovely folks.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.